Hey guys, this is Tiffany, and I'm back with more of the Orville. I'm so excited. We are now at kind of almost, I feel like towards the end of this season maybe, of the Orville, and I have loved every episode so far. And this episode is no different. It actually reminds me of another series I love. It's called Majority Rule, and basically it opens up with a girl waking up. We don't really know who she is yet, and basically she's in a world where downvotes and upvotes are the system of doing things. And it is really reminiscent to me of Black Mirror. If you have not seen Black Mirror, I highly, highly recommend it. And if you have seen it, you know what I mean. If you haven't seen it, watch it and you'll understand what I mean when I say that this is very reminiscent of that. Some of the episodes in Black Mirror, because in this society everything is dictated. Like their whole democracy, their way of ruling and government and crime and punishment and everything is based on your popularity, essentially, or how much people don't like you or do like you. And a lot of it's influenced by the media, and we'll get to that for sure. It's such a major thing to think about, because a lot of people today are very influenced by the media and by social network especially. So it shows a man in like an electric chair as his friend gets killed, and he gets over 10 million, and once that 10 million downvotes, I'm sorry. Once that happens, sure enough, he goes into like this, jolt in like what looks like an electric chair. And you assume he's dead, I mean, for all intents and purposes. But we learn later what's actually happened to him. But, so, anyways, it opens up on the Orville as they're basically trying to look for Claire's friends, who happen to be anthropologists, and they study different worlds and try to understand their way of life. They're getting dressed in like this blue jean apparel, and we see Laura and Claire and Kelly, and they also have the they have Lieutenant John Lamar with them, and so they're wanting to go find the anthropologists. So they go to this world, and they are, trying to blend in. That was like their primary focus. They, basically hear from different people, street vendors, people in passing, that whenever they ask, have you seen these men? They're like, they act like, shocked that they don't know what's happened. They're like, you don't know? They got corrected. Duh, that's obvious. And they don't really know what that means, so no one will really expand on it because they assume it's pretty standard knowledge. So, of course, they're trying to look for more clues to what this might mean or what has happened to them. And Laura, yet again, here we go. We're discussing Laura's dating life and the trouble she's had finding someone, and how difficult it's been for her. So it's, it's getting brought up so much. I feel like we've got an episode yet to come that's really going to focus more on her and possibly maybe some issues she's had, not just with dating, but in general. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, I feel like that's just foreshadowing. All these episodes have been foreshadowing something that has yet to come, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, they're basically in the middle of a square, and our own Lieutenant John Lamar decides it would be entertaining to kind of like dance on and gyrate the statue in the middle of the square where everyone's looking at him. They already have gotten, basically everybody wears these badges with like a down and a down button and an up button, and those, of course, simulate the downvotes and the upvotes. Every interaction you have with anyone, every any interaction you have with someone, they can either upvote you or downvote you should they choose to do so. So it's kind of scary to think about if someone decides they don't like you, or just who knows what could cause like their mind to go one way or the other. They could downvote you or upvote you based on that one interaction, and it could take 5 seconds, it could take 30 minutes, you don't know, or more. So imagine that's got to be crazy with like coworkers and friends and family and random strangers at a coffee shop or at a restaurant, a waiter, goodness knows, can you imagine? So basically the lieutenant is on this statue, and everybody's videoing it, and they upload it, and unfortunately they realize very quickly that this is trouble. And as they're in this shop, they finally get help from a girl named Lysella, and Lysella looks to be really willing to help until all of a sudden the lieutenant's badge goes crazy, and all of a sudden he's getting all sorts of these downvotes. And they realize it's because all these people have uploaded the video of him gyrating on the statue to what's called the master feed. And he's very quickly arrested, and he learns basically that he's gotten enough downvotes, over 1 million, to get arrested. And basically he gets visited by a public relations type officer and like a publicity officer who is helping him. And he's got to go on an apology tour. And an apology tour is basically you go on all these talk shows. Like the first one he goes on is called The Chat. And you basically try your best to apologize to the public. And they will either, if they'll rate you during that interaction based on if they think you're sincere enough or apologetic enough, and different things like that. So he's got to go on this apology tour. Unfortunately, the union will not clear Ed and the Orville to do an extraction of him, because it could obviously open up their presence and make them known. So they wouldn't clear it. They learned that instead of getting killed, this machine that kind of that they use to correct people, it actually goes into like your neurological synapses and way of thinking, and it's supposed to eradicate bad behavior. So it's scary because it turns everybody who undergoes it into like these pliant, very kind of stoic, but always just polite and no emotion, no feeling, just always have like the perfect thing to say in any social situation type thing. Just the way it messes with your brain. So of course it's very scary. And he goes on the chat finally, and this is rough, because it's like they equate it to American Idol, and basically he has to give an apology, which, let's be honest, the first one is very insincere. You're like, yep, I did it, sorry, never happen again, my bad, what was I thinking? We learn that this is a statue of a woman named Mela Giffenden, who apparently led a group of pioneers and has done so many amazing things for this world and that they're on, and that it seems almost blasphemic that he doesn't know who this is or what she's done for them, and it's very bad, obviously. So he gets a ton of downvotes. So they decide, this is a bad scenario. They bring Lysella on board the Orville, and she basically explains to them what's happened, the way their world works, and they have to kind of come to terms how to change the mind of millions of people, to not downvote him with this massive master feed like social networking to change the minds of millions of people. And so she throws out a few ideas, like they say he helps out his elderly grandmother, and that he, I think they said like she was 90. They say that he was a overweight kid whenever he was younger. They say that he was a veteran, like a soldier. And they post a video of him with his dog Chuckles, and it's one of those very touching, reunions after you get back from war and you're finally seeing your pet for the first time. So they post that video to the master feed, and he's being brought to this chair to possibly undergo this neurological implementation for it to eradicate bad behavior. And he gets, even with all of this stuff going on, he gets 9,999,996 downvotes. So he barely escapes. And to be honest with you, I thought for a second there, as he was exiting the cell and telling the guards and his own publicity, officer or whomever, or publicity representative, to kiss his ass and all this stuff, I was like, yeah, they're going to be like the final four that put him over that 10 million mark. But that didn't happen, luckily. The voting time was over, apparently. So, and they really, their party message to Lysella, because obviously she can't really tell anyone what's happened or what she knows or has seen with the Orville, because no one will believe her. They basically tell her that world or that way of thinking is messed up, because if you're always voting on something, on what is right and what is wrong, how do you know what's really right or what is really ethical? It brings up that very big question of ethics. And, who really judges what is good or right or wrong or anything like that. And again, I talked about Black Mirror, so a little bit kind of a spoiler, but not really. There's an episode in Black Mirror where everything that you have is based on your popularity, and every interaction you can rate someone 1 out of 5 stars, and your credit, your getting a car, getting an apartment, getting a job or a job promotion even, is 100% based on your popularity and what your rating is. And it basically talks about what that life would be. And your any flub, any mess up, you can easily get downvoted quite a bit, not just by one person, but say you're in front of a group of people and something happens, that could massively impact your score or your rating, and your average, because that kind of system is based on an average. So, can you even imagine what that would be like? So, this episode really did remind me of that. It was kind of a little bit of a nostalgia thing for me to watch this, because that was an episode that I found very striking, because it really talks about how we respond to media opinion and how we respond to even our friends' opinion. Because as we see at the very end, Lysella, they've got another man on there who's being brought under scrutiny, and it's time for the voting, and she goes to automatically downvote him with the masses. It's like this, sheep thing. The media tells you this is wrong and that he should be, punished or corrected, as they put it. And she hesitates, like her finger lingers on the downvote button, and she chooses not to. She turns off the screen that it's on and chooses not to vote. And that says a lot. It truly does. These people, that's their society, and they go with what these chat shows and with what the popular public opinion is. They tend to go with the flow, and instead of really having a voice of their own, they say it gives them a voice, but does it really? If you're only following what they tell you to think and how to feel, what kind of voice is that really giving you? You know, it's a very profound and kind of, you know, interesting thing to think about. In my opinion, I mean, it definitely gives an interesting conversation topic, right? So, but yeah, that was the Orville majority rule. That's where that, you know, title comes from, is the majority rules over everything. What your kids eat, what, you know, any popular discussion or opinion on anything, any matter, can even including, you know, acts of violence or acts of, you know, prank, obviously, as this was, or just comedic value. I mean, if it's even remotely distasteful or, you know, bordering on crude, I mean, too many people will get up in arms about it, and there you go. I mean, and these people could be harmed for life and not really have any emotions for the rest of their being. So, but yeah, that's crazy. But that was this episode, and I really enjoyed it, again, because I love Black Mirror, and it kind of brought that back to me. And yeah, so I'll definitely continue to review the Orville, and of course Star Trek Discovery, which I'm so behind. I'm so bad. I need to watch this last Sunday's episode still. I'm just so behind, so I apologize, you guys. I have been going crazy this week, so, but I will definitely watch it after I watch Stranger Things. I've got to watch Stranger Things too. I'm actually going to review that next for the first episode, and we'll definitely continue to review the rest of Stranger Things as I watch it episode by episode. I'm also reviewing, let's see, what else am I reviewing? Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, different things as it comes out. Of course, Doctor Who when it starts. A lot of nerdy stuff. I intend to do some comic reviews, definitely. We do unboxings of Loot Crate, Loot Anime, Scotchbox Japanese Snacks. We do unboxings of Owl Crate, and I've got Anime Bento coming. And so we'll have a lot more of those videos. I'm also going to be doing gaming videos, like live streams, and lots of cool stuff just for you guys. We've also got a Destiny 2 giveaway going on. So if you haven't already, subscribe so you can, you know, follow the channel. We really appreciate it. And there's also a video of how to win your copy of Destiny 2 on any platform you want, Xbox, PS, or of course PC. So just let us know what you think if you go check out that video if you'd like to win. And yeah, so follow us also on Facebook at www.facebook.com/thenerdettes, and we hope to see you guys back. Bye.